History is a good teacher. It just has horrible students.
While history doesn't repeat in all the unique details, in the broad strokes, however, it reproduces events one-to-one. In this video, I'd like to show you how events before World War II mirror those happening right now. The broad strokes as follow. 1. A new international order establishes meant to prevent wars. 2. An egocentric individual with great social skills come to power via democratic process in a powerful country. Let's call him the leader. 3. The leader perceives that his nation has gone through a great geopolitical tragedy recently in the past. 4. The leader talks sweet, promises to play by the rules, signs any necessary agreements, basically sedating the West. 5. The leader assumes full power during economical hardships. However, during his reign, economy stabilizes and grows. Thus, the leader gains vast support of his population. 6. Once having full power, the leader eliminates any threats to their rule, which entails political oppressions and full control of mass medias. And the final broad stroke, number 7, egocentric leader, greedy for more grandeur, puts an existing world order on trial and takes ever bigger risks to undermine it, which eventually leads to global war. In 1935, Mussolini was one of the first to give League of Nations a black eye. He invaded Ethiopia and completely got away with it. I think the invasion of Georgia in 2008 is a good historical parallel. In both cases, international law was violated, but no one cared to do anything about it. Leader of Ethiopia came to the League of Nations to personally
give Europe a warning of the doom that awaits it, if it should bow before the accomplished fact.
And oh boy, did the doom came later. Leader of Georgia, Mikhail Saakashvili, also addressed the League of Nations 2.0 with the warning.
The country of Georgia, a land of fewer than 5 million, the last month was invaded by our neighbor. The legal, moral, and political and security implications raised by that invasion could not be larger in consequence. Those issues cut through to the heart of the UN's founding charter. The principles enshrined in that charter included the inviolability of sovereign borders, the sanctity of human rights, the supremacy of international law, and the global rejection of armed aggression. All of these principles were put to the test by the invasion and now hang in balance. Will this body stand up for its founding principles, or will it allow them to be crushed under the treads of invading tanks, under the boots of ethnic cleansers? Today, unfortunately, we stand at this very precipice where the peace could yield to the pernicious New World Order. We no longer have reason for inaction. So now each of us has a responsibility to act. If, however, we fail to stop these violent tactics that subvert state sovereignty in Georgia, it will spread to other parts of the world.
And oh boy, did it spread to the other parts of the world.
Next door, the Rhineland remained a demilitarized zone. To recover it would directly challenge the Allies, and above all, France. The troops rode over the Rhine bridges at dawn on March the 7th, 1936. Secretly, the commanders were ready to bolt back across the river if France showed any sign of fight. But there was none. Hitler had taken a chance and won.
In 1936, Hitler, after watching the British and French respond feebly and in disagreement to an Italian attack on Ethiopia, took his biggest risk ever. He broke the Treaty of Versailles and completely got away with it. This was the moment where Hitler could have been stopped and entire World War II completely avoided. I think the invasion of Chechnya is a decent historical parallel. In both cases, Hitler and Putin got away with violating international agreements that they have committed to uphold. This is the list of laws and treaties Putin violated when he ordered a second invasion of Chechnya. Chechen people were fighting for their inherent right for self-determination. But no one bothered to do anything when Putin wiped his ass with those rights. This was also the best moment to stop Putin by applying severe sanctions, isolating Moscow Empire, and standing firm on human rights, and those who are violating them should have not been tolerated in the Western societies. This moment in 1999 was missed, thus opening the door for further violations of human rights and international law. In 1938, Hitler annexed Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia.
But though Czechoslovakia was ready to fight, Britain and France gave way. At Munich in September 1938, Chamberlain for Britain, Italy's Mussolini, Daladier for France, signed with Hitler the treaty which stripped Czechoslovakia of the Sudetenland and left her broken and abandoned.
I think this parallels very well with the annexation of Crimea. Both cases crumbled the existing world order in Europe. Propaganda showed it as ethnic Germans or ethnic Russians were oppressed in a foreign country and needed help, and nobody cared to actually look what's going on. In both cases, there was no response from the West proportional to the crime committed by the tyrant. So naturally, being unpunished encourages to do more crimes. So within a year of Sudetenland annexation, Hitler wiped the remaining Czechoslovakia off the map, as it was his unshakable will to do so. And of course, Hitler didn't intend to stop there. Destroying Czechoslovakia was part of a much broader strategy to acquire living space.
He struck on March the 15th, 1939. The last democracy in Central Europe was wiped out.
At this point, World War II was already unavoidable. Czechoslovakia back then parallels Ukraine today very well. It's also Putin's unshakable will to wipe Ukraine off the map. All the way back in 2008, he told President George Bush that Ukraine is not a real country.
You know, George, Ukraine's not really a country.
And just like Hitler's, Putin's appetites are much bigger than one neighboring country next to him. I believe Putin was also planning to invade Ukraine within a year of Crimea annexation, but accidentally shooting down MH17 and other factors like Trump, COVID, Nord Stream completion postponed that decision until 2022.
In that world where Czechoslovakia resists, there's no Second World War. The Czechs had a good army. They could have held the Germans back. It was largely a bluff on the German side. If the Czechs resist, then the French and the British and maybe the Americans eventually start to help. There would have been a conflict, but there wouldn't have been a Second World War. When Germany invaded Poland in 1939, it was invading Poland with the Czech armaments industry, which was the best in the world. It was invading with Slovak soldiers. It was invading from a geographical position that it only gained because it had destroyed Czechoslovakia. So if the Ukrainians give up, or if we give up Ukraine, then it's a different Russia making war in the future. It's a Russia making war with Ukrainian technology, Ukrainian soldiers, from a different geographical position. Then we're in 1939. We're in 1938 now. In effect, what the Ukrainians are letting us do is they're letting us extend 1938. The Ukrainians are giving us this chance, and we have to take this chance if we want to prevent a great power war.
So, this is how I see the history rhyming on itself from before World War II and today. Back then, Hitler wanted Danzig Corridor, and today Putin wants the Suwalki Corridor, which are both in Poland. Today's alliance of Communist China and the Moscow Empire would be mirroring the alliance of Nazi Germany and Soviet Union. Such an alliance indeed existed. Soviet Union was one who started World War II together with Nazis by invading Poland from the east just a couple weeks later after Nazis invaded it. Those two absolute dictatorships had a joint military parade. German military had education in Soviet Union. Prime Minister Molotov was cracking jokes to Hitler Molotov said words like, "We have always stood for friendship between peoples of the USSR and Germany. A strong Germany is an indispensable condition for durable peace in Europe. Germany is striving for the earliest termination of war and for peace, while Britain and France are in favor of continuing the war." That blaming of war on Britain and France sounds eerily familiar to how useful idiots are blaming Russian invasion of Ukraine onto NATO.
NATO is one of the major reasons why Russia invaded Ukraine in the first place.
We now live in a world of Hitler's mistakes.
Berlin and Moscow had this cozy alliance going until Hitler made his second biggest mistake, invading Soviet Union before crushing the Great Britain. Hitler's number one greatest mistake was declaring war on the United States of America.
For some unexplained reason, Hitler declared war on the United States, which relieved Roosevelt of all of his difficulties.
If Hitler would not be so arrogant, United States would have never intervened, and he would have had entire Eurasian continent from London to Alaska under his domain. United States would have never intervened because after the Great Depression, they were going hardcore on isolationism.
I hope the United States will keep out of this war. I believe that it will.
According to NationalWorldWar2Museum.org, 88% of Americans opposed the idea of declaring war against the Axis powers in Europe. United States in the 30s adopted 3 neutrality acts. 3! United States did not even join League of Nations, despite the fact that this organization was initiated by their president, Woodrow Wilson. There also existed a pretty big America First committee.
That we cannot win this war for England regardless of how much assistance we send. That is why the America First Committee has been formed,
which strikingly resembles Trump's
America First.
Some caricatures from back then, I think, speak volumes. Roosevelt, whether to amend the Neutrality Act or not, arguing with the Congress while Europe is burning. Now here's one of my favorite. America First lady is reading from what looks like Nazi fairy tale book, and the wolf chewed up the children and spit out their bones. But those were foreign children, and it really didn't matter. Relatives? Nah, just 3 fellas going along on the right. America First, Nazis, fascists, communists. I don't actually get this caricature. Maybe you understand it. But this one is my favorite. Get your ostrich bonnet here. Relieves Hitler headache. Forget the terrible news you've read. Put your minds at ease in an ostrich head. Bundy Ostrich Service Incorporated. And those fellas are receiving their ostrich heads and plucking them into the ground. And this ostrich reminds me of Joe Rogan so well.
You don't want to pay attention to that shit. You just want to live your life. You want to just be carefree and have fun and do the thing that you're passionate about. And meanwhile, the world is burning.
Yeah, I also want to enjoy my life and live peacefully, but I can't because Moscow Empire is invading my country. We always were suckers for ridiculous hats. Now this one, Coach America First. Remember, no punting, no passing. I don't get this one as well. I think maybe it's reference to American football. Relax, Sam. I assure you, the express turns off right here, says America First guy, while the Nazi train is rushing on the rails. And I guess America First is expecting it to go through Appeasement Junction. Dr. Seuss, his caricature is a genius. This one I don't get as much as well. America First and Nazis are entangling with beards. They join in a manner that mystifies the mightiest minds in the land. Alright, this one, America First ostrich nibbling on the roots of US morale. Ah, so good, so good. Hey, hide if you have to, but by thunder, stop nibbling. I guess this is American conscious speaking. I don't know who this bird represents. Maybe you know it. And lastly, in the collection, or I can't see a thing, mates. We must be perfectly safe. Yeah, if Hitler would not be dumb, he would have conquered entire Eurasia. And then what would you be doing, America? What would you be doing when you'd have lost all of your allies? Lastly, Neutrality Act. Okay, I don't get this one as well. Aid that will win. It's kind of tied to America. I don't get this one as well. So as I see it, we're kind of blessed that Hitler was not the smartest guy. And basically, together with the Japanese, forced the war onto isolationist Americans.
3 lessons from history.
So, what could history teach us here? I think 3 important lessons. Number 1, American isolationism, in the long run, is creating more problems for Americans. The D-Day did not need to happen, and American soldiers did not need to die if they would have participated in the foreign affairs and would stop Hitler from violating Versailles Treaty in real end. Second lesson, we must not allow Moscow Empire and Communist China to make a military alliance. Highly unlikely that we will be blessed again with the mistakes that Hitler did. Such an alliance would pose immense danger to everyone, because these absolute dictatorships do not value human life at all, and they will not hesitate to reach their goals. And lesson number 3, Czechoslovakia, aka Ukraine, chose to fight, giving you, the West, a chance to avoid disaster. Accept Ukraine into NATO and help it defend from the evil, or face the consequences of your inaction. After all, as you see from history, inaction opens doors for dictators to rise. Invest a little now, or pay big later. And also, I'll never be tired of repeating it, EU countries like Germany, Italy, France should stop trading with Moscow Empire, thus indirectly sponsoring genocide in Ukraine. This is the biggest deterioration of Western values and greatest example of hypocrisy, helping Putin wage this war by trading with him. Thank you all for watching. My name is Yaroslav, I'm from Ukraine. If you'd like to support me financially, I would greatly appreciate so. The collection of caricatures along with a dozen other historical documents is available for my Patreon subscribers and for members here on YouTube. Peace through strength. From now on onwards. Thank you.
The only thing that they stepped over, in reality, was our sovereign border. They said they had to do it as their predecessors had to invade Poland because of reckless desire of Poland to be free in 1939. Finland in 1940, Hungary in 1956, Czechoslovakia in 1968, and Afghanistan in 1979. And they had to erase the same people, a capital of 400,000 people, inhabitants, Grozny, to destroy and exterminate the proud Chechen nation and kill tens of thousands of innocent women and children. And I'm saying it on the record that the clock is ticking and they will have to do it again, and they will do it again unless they are stopped by all of us.